Tonight on Unsigned Artist Reveal, Howard University music major Ashley Scott has been in distinctive high places. As a member of the Howard University Gospel Choir, the creative performed for former President Bill Clinton. Scott's abilities have garnered him recording opportunities with music icon Will Downing, Sarah's Girl, and more. Stage performances include Take 6, Marcus Johnson, and Gene Carn. Join us on a music journey and music premiere of Scott's latest release, Dance the Night Away. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Unsigned Artist Reveal. I am the creator and, of course, your host, Sobrina Taylor. So glad to have you on tonight. Listen, do me a favor. Please share and invite. Let everybody know that we are on and they need to come on board because they're going to miss a great and wonderful show with our special guest on tonight. Listen, we've got so much that we want to cover, but we can't cover it without our guest. We're going to go ahead and just bring him on. Everybody, please, you know what the routine is. Put your hands together and give a warm welcome to Ashley Scott. Welcome, Ashley.
Thank you, Sabrina. How are you?
I'm awesome. I'm awesome. So glad to have you on the platform today.
Thank you. I love the theme music for your show. When they first started playing, I said, "Whoa, is this the Love Zone here?" I was like, "Oh shucks, this is the Love Zone." Let me put on my quiet storm voice and
get busy. Well, wait till that.
Here we go.
After
on the Love Zone with Sobrina Taylor. I might need to change the name or something here.
I know, right? That's Nathan Mitchell, Smooth Groove.
Oh, great track.
Yeah,
I love jazz. I love, jazz. And, I worked with quite a few smooth jazz artists, on their teams and everything. I used to work with Marcus Johnson. So
really? Yeah, I saw that. Absolutely. Yeah. And we're gonna touch on all
that stuff.
All of that and then some on tonight. I'm actually trying to get you a visual so that people can see who you are. There you are. So people can know exactly who you are. And we just want to just dive right in because we've got a lot to cover in just a short window in space of time. And you guys, I told him, I said, look, I know, right?
Janet Jackson dance from Pleasure Principle or something like that.
You know what I mean? All black and
Rhythm Nation. We're gonna do the Rhythm Nation dance. Dun, 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 dun.
I know she just loved black. I think it was just to kind of hide a little this, a little that. Who knows? Who doesn't love Janet Jackson? But I told everybody, I told him he is an old soul in a young body.
Yes.
And you'll find out why in just a little bit. Let's talk about your background. Do you come from a musical background, or are you like the ones who said, no, I'm the only one in the family that was musical, or is it the other way around this time?
No, I'm not the only one that's musical in the family. Well, first, my parents always played music around the house. My dad had a pretty okay record collection, but he played a lot of his favorites. He was a big Chicago fan, so their very first album with Does Anybody Really Know What Time It Is was one of his favorite songs that he would play every day. He loved Songs in the Key of Life by Stevie Wonder, and he would play as all the time.
My favorite.
And growing up, I just remember my favorite songs were After Love Is Gone by Earth, Wind and Fire and Give It to Me, Baby by Rick James were just my two favorite songs. I would walk around the house and scream After the Love Is Gone and Philip Bailey's Range, and when they modulated, I would try to modulate with them, so I couldn't sing anymore. But it also came within my family, and so my mother, she grew up, in West Philadelphia, on the same block as a group called the Delphonics. So for those that may not know who they are one of the groups. I'm a history buff too, so I got stories behind things that I'm about to. I got stories. So for those that don't know, the Delphonics are one of the first groups to create what we know as the sound of Philadelphia.
Right.
They were the first group. Some history buffs will say that it was Eddie Holman with "Hey There, Lonely Girl," or Barbara Mason, "Yes, I'm Ready." But
right.
The Delphonics, their producer was Tom Bell, and I'll go into him in a little bit. But they had the first million seller with "La La Means I Love You" back in 1968. So then the hits just kept coming with "Ready or Not," "Break Your Promise," and then they won a Grammy for "Didn't I Blow Your Mind" this time in 1970.
Right.
You know, and all the while working with Tom Bell. Tom Bell's other musical partners were on the other side of town creating their record company called Philadelphia International, Kenny Gamble and Leon Huff. And that's what started the whole sound of Philadelphia. So, you know, my mom kind of growing up with those guys, they were like the uncles on that side of the family that I never had. So William Hart, Wilbert Hart, and Randy Kane, you know, the original trio. And then later, Major Harris joined to replace Randy Kane. And Major also is the guy that originally recorded the song "Love Won't Let Me Wait."
Oh, wow. Right.
Yeah, I'm giving you some history here.
You got but it's great music history.
Right.
Yeah.
So that whole Philadelphia sound was, what a lot of people say is Philadelphia was to the 70s of what Motown was to the 60s. So if you go back to the 60s, Motown just owned the charts in the airways because it was an in-house competition with releasing product.
Right.
So on Motown, you had the Jackson 5, Diana Ross and the Supremes, the Temptations, Martha Reeves, the Four Tops, Stevie Wonder, Marvin Gaye, Gladys Knight and the Pips,
the greats, all the greats,
Junior Walker, Martha Reeves, Mary Wells, Smokey Robinson. All those people releasing music at the same time just consumed the airwaves and the charts. So it was no room for anybody at that time. So, you know, not saying Motown didn't continue in the 70s, but a lot of those artists kind of, you know, went off and pursued other avenues, and Philly kind of took over. So, you know, you had the Delphonics, you know, kicking off the sound of Philadelphia. And then Gamble and Huff had the Intruders and did Cowboys to Girls. And then they had a series of hits with Together, I Want to Know Your Name, I'll Always Love My Mama. Then Gamble and Huff signed this group out of Cleveland named the OJs. And that spearheaded Love Train and Backstabbers and I Love Music and all that. And then Tom Bell stopped working with the Delphonics, and he was working with a group called the Stylistics. They weren't signed to Philly International at that time, but creating more music with the same session musicians. So Stylistics had You Make Me Feel Brand New, You Are Everything, Break Up to Make Up, Betcha by Golly Wow, all those hits. Then Gamble and Huff had Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes with Teddy Pendergrass, started The Love I Lost, and If You Don't Know Me By Now, Wake Up Everybody, Bad Luck, Don't Leave Me This Way. Then they signed another group, and that's where I'll kind of stop on their story and go into how the music influenced in my family. So my aunt, at the age of 15, my dad's sister, her name is Helen Scott, she joined a female singing group back in 1963 when she was 15 years old.
Yeah.
She was in the group for the first 3 years, and they were signed to a small local label in Philadelphia that was actually owned by Dick Clark. It was called Swan Records.
Yep.
And Swan was actually the first label that the Beatles signed to when they came to America.
I remember.
So that was a local small label in Philadelphia. So my aunt's group at the time recorded about 19 or 20 some singles, and she's on about all of maybe 2 of them.
Oh, wow. That says a lot.
Yeah. Right. So she was in the group for the first 3 years, and then she left not knowing she was going to come back to the group 10 years later. So within the 10 years that she wasn't in the group scored a number 1 hit, a top 10 hit with a song called Maybe in 1970. The group landed a cameo in the movie called The French Connection with Gene Hackman. In 1973, they signed with Gamble and Huff at Philly International, and that's where the hits started rolling in, and it took them to an international level. So the first single went gold in Holland, which was called Dirty Old Man. The second single went to top 10 in the UK And in between that time, the group recorded a theme song for the TV show Soul Train. And then the third single, they became a international phenomenon with the song "When Will I See You Again." So the group is called the 3 Degrees. When she came back in 1976, they worked with a disco producer named Giorgio Moroder, who worked with Donna Summer and produced all of her hits.
Her hits, yeah.
And then they met Prince Charles, and Prince Charles said that they were his favorite singing group. So they performed at a command performance for his 30th birthday party. And they were the only Americans other than Nancy Reagan to attend the royal wedding of Prince Charles and Princess Diana. Gosh. And she's still performing to this very day. She actually had some, shows before the pandemic hit, this year in England. So they are the longest running female vocal trio in music history. And they have had shows every calendar year since 1963. They have not stopped.
That's phenomenal all by itself.
So all of that played a huge, influence. And then, just growing up in the 80s, you had to go through your Prince phase, your Michael phase, your Luther phase, your Bobby Brown phase, your Babyface phase.
Whitney phase.
Whitney, Patti LaBelle.
Patty, yeah.
In the 90s, you had your groups and, your Will Downing phase. I see he's in the room. So, got to shout him out as well.
Hey, Will. Yeah.
So, just been through a lot of different phases of music, but it's just always been in me. So, when a lot of my friends wanted to go play ball, I just wanted to sing and, be around girls and sing to them and that kind of thing, make them fall in love, in junior high school. It used to work.
But, what you're saying is it actually brings back memories for me in the early 70s and 80s when music. And you guys don't throw eggs and tomatoes at me here, okay? I mean, when music really had depth and meaning, and you could listen to a song really today, and it influenced you for the rest of your life. Hence, where you're coming from, because all that music is so influential. I mean, Earth, Wind, and Fire, Aretha Franklin, Patti LaBelle. Like you say, hey, even the Delphonics, Stevie Wonder, you could just go on and on and on. The music lives.
Right.
Today.
And,
it still lives today.
The thing is that all those songs from both of those major labels of Motown and Philadelphia International and all the acts that we named, all their songs are still played today.
That's
so
it. Yeah.
It was a foundation. And, even so my aunt's group, the 3 Degrees, with being a part of the Philly sound, that music was very fully orchestrated by MFSB, the session group, and they played on everybody's recordings, but you heard the strings, you heard the horns.
Right.
And it wasn't until she did a concert in England at the Royal Albert Hall, and it was a broadcasted TV concert for the BBC, and they were backed by a 100-piece orchestra. So seeing that full orchestra, hearing I wasn't there, but just seeing the video, that's what taught me harmonies, and that's what taught me orchestration. I can't write the stuff out, but I can hear it. Yeah. So even when I work with musicians and composing my music, I can kind of say, okay, do this as a string line, la, 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 or hum it out, and they'll add it in there and say, how did you hear that? Just, it's coming to me creatively.
But do you play any instruments?
I don't play any instruments.
But that's phenomenal to hear you say, I can hear this.
Yeah, it's all in my head.
Yeah, it's all in your head.
But you have to get with a good, pianist, good pianist to kind of, get the stuff out of your head.
Yeah, bang it all out for you. Yeah.
But it's just about being a visionary and a producer of yourself. One thing that I admire from Will is that he is a visionary, and that's one of the things that I've learned from him over the past few years of working with him, is that he's a visionary, he's a coach, he knows what he wants, and he knows his players, and he knows how to get, what he wants, and bring all of his creations to life.
Well, let's that absolutely phenomenal backset in the history of music, and it just, like I said, it just kind of, it takes me back to my childhood in the days when music was just so much, it was so inbred and in the African American communities.
Yeah.
And it's what kind of it was like the glue that kept us bonded together.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, definitely, and it still is
And it still is.
in some
Yeah.
households, and just the
Yeah.
times and the culture has changed. You know, and the different genres have become more popular, if you will. But it,
Yeah.
you know, it's still, you know, nothing like sitting back and listening to a good song and just everybody going to a party or a wedding and doing the electric slide to Cameo, you know, Candy or something like that. You know what I mean?
I do. I really
One
do.
thing that I've some of the response I've gotten from my latest singles, Dance the Night Away, is that it's barbecue music and they can't wait to play it at the next barbecue. And you know,
Don't give away the story yet because,
I know.
and guys, I was playing it before, when I got him on the platform, I kind of went through some things to make sure everything was cued properly and just having a great time with this song. It is absolutely a song that takes you back. I don't want to really give it all the way,
We'll
but
get
with
to it.
me saying he's an old soul in a youthful body, I'm telling you, he's the embodiment of that. And then to hear him, you sound like a brother of mine. I call him my brother. They used to work with at Saks Fifth Avenue several years ago. LZ is probably all of 30, and he can take
Okay.
you back to history. And, he's so historic. And it's like, sir, where'd you get all this information? And to just sit with him and let him just, ramble off certain things is so phenomenal. But bringing it home to you to hear you, give us such classic history.
Yeah,
And
it all played a part. And I
yeah,
love I mean, it's something that I love, you know, about everybody. You know what I mean? It's something about everybody's music that played a part.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
and that's just being a connoisseur and a listener, you know, of the
True.
music. You know, you find something, you know, like let's just take the stylistics for instance. Russell Tompkins as a lead vocalist. I mean, he's just got such a melodic voice, you know what I mean? And he knows how to really style a song. What are you laughing at over there?
I'm sorry. So, I like to kind of multitask with my
Right.
artists because Will is being Will.
Yeah.
He's
I
calling
saw
you
that
he's
too.
calling you the historian, and he's
Yeah.
saying name the group, and
We did the
uh,
3 degrees at the time.
yeah,
Yes, sir.
exactly.
Yes, sir. Granny
So
Missouri.
he said, give it away, give it away, give it away. No, 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 Will, I don't want to give it away yet. I really want to save it for everybody because it's really, I'm telling you, all I need.
And he
I want
co-wrote the song too. So
to see. You're giving it away.
all
You
right.
got a whole, the now laters. Eat
Yeah,
some
yeah.
now, save
Got
some
it.
for
I
later.
got it. Got it. This is fun. This is fun.
It is. It really is. So, we've covered quite a bit, and in just having organic, authentic conversation
Yeah.
about your influences, which I knew it would be really, really deep, and I was kind of prepared for that. But I want you, before we go to break, because we do have to take a break, I want you to share your music experience because you've kind of brought us forward, and I'm sure a lot of um, this memory walks you through high school and brings you. I want to bring it forward to when you were at Howard University.
Okay.
Kind of share, encapsulated in about 2 minutes, your experience with music. I know, and you can't put
I
4 years in two
let me
minutes.
talk about high school and then we'll talk about Howard in the next
Well, but
segment
we
because
got to
Howard
take a break. We got to
I
take a
know, I
break.
know. I'm just
Yeah.
going
So let's do
so
that right quick.
high school is basically, you know, Philly was booming in the 90s. Boys to
Yeah.
Men had hit.
Hmm.
And so it was I actually went to high school with the Vivian Green. So Emotional Roller Coaster, Vivian
Hmm.
Green. Yeah.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
I went to high school with her and her sister. So, you know, high school talent shows were the thing at that time. So I did, you know, help produce the shows and performed on them as well.
Right.
You know, and just listening to the music of that time, En Vogue, Silk, Boyz II Men, you know, all those
Yep.
groups,
Great
and
music.
still like in the adult contemporary with, you know, Will Downing and Rochelle Farrell and the smooth jazz of Gerald Albright and Najee and things of that nature. I was just a sponge taking everything in musically. So that's what high school was like, you know,
Yeah.
both trying to cultivate the craft, you know.
Right.
Going to
Right.
Howard University, we'll come back because that's a whole nother
Is that a whole other
that's a whole
level
other
of
whole
conversation?
yes it is. It's a whole nother segment. a whole nother
Oh, and
historical
that's why I
segment
said we
there.
have and I knew it would be. We have so much to talk about in just an hour, and I wanted to kind of keep us on track. So
I
let's
will.
do
I'll
that.
be. I'll be good with
Let's
that.
go on back to let's go to break. It's not gonna be long.
Okay.
And I do want to acknowledge everybody that is saying hello, and I like to do that
Hey,
as
everybody.
well. Yeah, no, we're gonna talk. We're literally gonna talk to them. But let's first go to break, and when we come back, we'll kind of acknowledge everybody, and then we'll talk about your Howard University days because I can't wait to hear
Yeah.
about that. Okay, so hang out for just a
Okay.
minute or two.
We're
We'll
going.
be right back. All right, everybody, listen. We've got Ashley Scott, and he is here with us on tonight. He's got so much to share, and we're going to get this power packed hour um, ahead of us out. We're really going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to continue our conversation. We've got music that we want to listen to and so much more, so much more. So listen, do me a favor, share and invite, let everybody know we're on while we're at break. And I promise you, we'll be right back with more conversation from Ashley Scott. From the latest CD straight up comes the rhythmic sounds of Sundance by bassist Michael Manson. The creative takes the listener on a journey of up-tempo plush instrumentation, evoking a delightful visionary scene of destination getaway. Manson's musicianship is duly noted as legacy in the making, garnering music lovers around the world. Sundance is available on all digital music platforms. Hey, everybody, and welcome back to Unsigned Artist Reveal. I am your host, Sobrina Taylor, and I also want to encourage those of you who are indie creatives. If you have a project that you want to release, I need you to give us a call here at the Unsigned Artist Reveal at 601 407 9832. So we can talk about doing a campaign to get your music heard within the social media mediums through Unsigned Artist Reveal. Not only that, we can also get you a platform position just like what you're seeing here tonight with Ashley Scott. So we've got a lot going on at the Unsigned Artist Reveal. Send your best MP3 to unsignedartistreveal at gmail.com. And one of our team members, well, actually, our entire team will take a listen to the music to make sure that it fits our format. And then give us about 3 to 7 business days to get back with you. And then we'll get you set up for an interview. But until then, we want to continue our conversation with our special guest on tonight. This Ashley Scott. He
Yeah.
is here. And before we went to break, he said, "You better hurry. You better go on and go to break because Howard is a whole other level of conversation."
It is. It
So
is.
let's just dig right on into your experience musically at Howard University.
Well, going to Howard University, I mean, first it's the greatest school of higher learning in the world.
Yes.
But to be a part of the music department, and the legacy that just that department, not even get into the school, but the department has produced of like Roberta Flack, Donny Hathaway. I mean, the list goes on and on.
Yes.
It was just in a great experience to walk through those halls and be a part of that department. Some of the professors that I had still had worked with Donnie and Roberta during their time at Howard, so to kind of learn from some of those professors were a great thing. But in particular, I was a music business major with a jazz voice concentration, and 3 of the people that I kind of worked closely with, Kahembe Eichelberger was my vocal teacher. She did the technique and all of that, but the other aspects of the voice department were with Grady Tate, Grady was possibly the most recorded jazz drummer of all time, but he was also a vocalist. So he worked with Lena Horne, Frank Sinatra, Count Basie, Duke Ellington, Quincy Jones, you name it, Grover Washington Jr. He was a great vocalist. He knew every jazz tune ever recorded. I mean, he could scat like I don't know what, and he was the person that kind of hammered me on, diving more into a song and learning the lyrics and, bringing out that feeling. I remember going to, one of his classes, and I had to sing When I Fall in Love, and I sounded cool, but he said, okay, man, he said, have you ever effing been in love, man? He said, you got to, he said,
okay.
He said, you got to sing this stuff a lot more.
Okay.
I mean, so I was like, yeah. So, it came out in the end, but, it just, that type of training ground, was an excellent time. And also Webster Lewis, who was a ensemble teacher. So learning arrangements and singing harmonies with other artists, with other students at that time. Webster was a jazz pianist. He had about 4 albums on Sony back in the 70s on his own, but he also was the conductor for Barry White's Love Unlimited Orchestra.
How awesome.
And he also produced a song called Here's Looking Up to You by Michael Wyckoff, which was later sampled by Jeanne for Hey Mr. DJ. So that's a little history there. And so Webster, was just a phenomenal arranger and keyboardist, and he just taught us some of his music we performed on a student recital, as well as just other songs that he wanted to tackle, for us to kind of do like group projects with, and he was the person at Howard that had the most industry experience.
Yeah.
And so he was the one that actually introduced me to Will Downing, and he brought Will Downing to kind of come and lecture to the students about just being a performer and being an artist,
right.
And that's what kind of, introduced that opened that door. But, Webster taught us a whole lot about the industry. He'd say, a record contract is nothing but a credit card. What they pay out, you will pay back.
Eventually. Yeah.
He knew that something was, he didn't know what exactly was going to change in the industry, but he knew that the industry was changing. And, in his later years, he was doing jingles, in New York in the studio for he had big clients like Pizza Hut and Ford Motor Company.
Oh, wow.
But he knew that things were changing, and he was friends with the CEO of, I'm telling my age a little bit, of AOL at that time.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
So this is right before Napster hit and all the piracy kind of came in. So
right, exactly.
Exactly. He was just, he had a good feeling that he had a strong feeling that change was coming. He couldn't really pinpoint it.
Right.
But boy, was he.
He was correct, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was correct.
Yeah, absolutely correct.
And it was just a great time. I was also a member of the Howard Gospel Choir, and that's one of the oldest gospel choirs,
it is
ever in on any college campus, not just historically Black college and universities, but we were one of the first. And so the choir started in 1968. The original keyboardist was Richard Smallwood.
Right.
And it also produced stars like Angela Winbush and Tawatha Agee from Untume. She's also, legendary singer with Luther, and she did a whole lot as well. And they also, the choir also produced the group Pure Soul from the 90s. They had the wedding song We Must Be in Love. I don't know if you remember that one or not. They were out of DC. They were a girl group. They had they had a couple singles, but that was the main hit.
They don't sound familiar to me.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So,
but that's okay.
When you hear the song, just look it up. We Must Be in Love by Pure Soul. You're like, oh, that one.
Yeah. Sometimes it just takes hearing to do a total recall. But I wanted to ask you something about your experience there at Howard. Was there an impactful moment while you were there that you can recall that you can say was pivotal for you? I mean, meeting Will Downing, yes, okay, that's impactful enough.
I would say a couple things. The Million Man March,
Oh,
being there,
wow. Yeah.
being in DC at that time,
Wow.
that was
Yeah.
seeing everybody leave my dorm to go march, down there to,
Mm.
so that was one. Being
Yeah.
in the Howard Gospel Choir and sitting in the choir stand and you see Jesse Jackson preaching a sermon, Desmond Tutu preaching a sermon,
Wow.
you know,
That's history,
yeah,
man. Great
yeah,
history.
Jeremiah Wright,
Yeah.
and even singing behind Edwin and Walter Hawkins, singing behind Dorinda Clark of the Clark sisters, and then being asked to go to the Department of Agriculture for a portrait unveiling of one of the former secretaries, Mike Espy, and
Yes.
and right there you're performing in front of President Clinton, and it was, we were the diversion for that press conference that time, because that's when he was going through a little problem with a young lady
I
at that
remember
time.
that little
So
problem.
just in case, it was like in case
Who
the press
doesn't?
mentioned her name, it was like, okay, choir, sing. Praise God. You start clapping and stuff like that.
Absolutely. Oh,
So,
who doesn't remember that moment? But
yeah, but
of course.
those were some of the greatest moments about being at Howard. And again, just learning under those professors,
Sure.
because now it's like, wow, everything that they taught me, I'm applying, and they were right, on the changes that were coming. But just again, how do you approach music and just being creative, and
Right.
just you and owning your own brand, and just being a trailblazer and a visionary. That was some of the greatest moments of
So
what to
would
learn.
you say that your days at Howard truly impacted your forward thinking about
Yeah,
music? I mean, of course, you've got all of this history in your own family. That's a
right,
given. That's a
right.
given.
I think the greatest thing is now encompassing all of it together and just bringing it all together.
Bringing it home. Yeah.
Yeah, because you hear the arrangement, the musicality that you learned at Howard, the approach and how to just be a visionary that way, and then the stuff that you've always had in you, bringing that in and just bringing out your own sound. It's just a great thing and a great feeling.
Yeah.
I'm a harmony person. I've always wanted to be in a group, obviously,
Me
between,
too.
between learning from the 3 degrees and the Delphonics. I've always wanted
Right.
a group, but it just wasn't my calling. So,
Wow.
but I still like singing with other people. So that approach, I record in a traditional way. And I say, I'm not going to be a one-man band and be the only voice on the record.
Correct.
I bring in other vocalists to bring in other colors and
The
other
flavors.
flavors,
Right.
and
Yeah.
for the pudding or the painting, if you will.
Right. Right.
And so, because it wasn't just Michael and Quincy that made Thriller and Off the Wall the classics that they were. It was everybody that
The
played
others intertwined. Yeah.
yeah,
Absolutely.
so
Wow.
yeah.
Amazing. What other genres? I mean, because you've got so much in you. I mean, you've got all kinds of music. When you have downtime, which you've had a lot recently, we just talked about that in the green room. Do you find yourself retreating to other genres when you want to listen to music, or do you just find yourself in the bubble of what you love the best? What do you do? What do you do
I I
in that
I
respect?
venture out. I do venture out a little bit. I mean, you try to stay current. You
Yes, you
know,
do.
you try
Right.
to stay current,
You have to.
and
Mhm.
but you also try to even dive into the stuff that you haven't heard by the people that you love the most.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Because
Yeah, I do.
you don't have time to listen to every song. So,
Nope.
and there are albums that are so obscure. Like I pulled out a Grady Tate album recently, and just listened to his approach and just to listen to some jazz, because jazz is becoming so rare nowadays.
Yes.
So
Yes.
just zoning in and just listening to him sing, and he's a baritone singer. Shout out to the baritone singers in the room. But he just the way he approached the music was, and then just having those memories of having conversation with him, him
Right.
telling his stories and him getting on me about, how to approach a song, and just laughing at it now,
Yeah.
so you have to stay current. I'm finding that I like, jazz and R&B, and even venturing into the dance music with what we'll be talking about shortly,
Yeah.
you know,
Exactly.
so
Exactly. So you were talking about, and I want to touch on this, approaching a song, and it kind of segues into. I love things when they're organic.
yeah,
My inquiry about you as a writer, you've had so much influence. I mean, rich influence. So,
yeah,
it's a no brainer that you've got it in you to write and be expressive.
right.
So as a writer, what what do you find inspires you when you're preparing to sit and you're thinking of writing a tune for someone else or for yourself or just writing to write? What's your process in writing?
It for me, it's the melody.
Hmm.
It may not be the words at first, but it just may be the melody. Something may come to me, and just walking around the house or hearing something, or you know, I'm inspired by the greats, obviously,
Of course, of
and
course.
but you can't, in today's terms, say too much of that because people want to have lawsuits on creativity nowadays.
Unfortunately,
So
yeah.
yeah, so without revealing so
I
much,
know.
of who you're inspired by,
Bye. Yep.
um, it's just, it could be a harmony, it could be a certain chord progression that I hear, it could
Yep.
be a feel that you want. So I'm writing a song now that, I just heard some warm chords, shall we say.
I love warm chords.
Yeah, warm chords. So we're not going to say progressions, or I'm not going to
Come
dive into
on
the theory.
now.
I'm not going to dive into the theory aspect of it, but
Right,
if
right.
it just takes you to a certain place in time,
It does.
and it
Yep.
gives you enough space. You want
To
space in the
create.
music to
Hmm.
create
That's
and to and
right.
to let the music
Yep.
breathe.
Right.
So I'm hearing a fully orchestrated sound
Wow.
for this one. Some of my recordings have been all live band, so that's kind of the way I want to continue to go.
Mm.
It's a lot more timely,
Yeah.
but in the end, the result is just breathtaking, especially for in today's times where people don't really, use live bands anymore. But I do hear the string arrangements, I do hear the horns, and
Yeah.
I want to kind of pursue this as a full orchestrated song and not piecing it together.
Right.
This time I
Oh,
kind of want to.
yeah.
I mean, I've done some things where sent the session file out. This person will cut their bass line, or this person will
Right.
cut their string part,
Yep.
or this keyboardist will program the strings if I couldn't get live strings on it. I don't really do uh, programmed horns, but I've done programmed strings, on songs.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but I just prefer to go the organic and the traditional route. That's why I say traditional,
Yep.
because
Yep.
I don't want to say old school, because I'm not old school. I'm just traditional.
Well, it's all in how you approach it.
Yeah, yeah.
So, what major artists would you like to submit um, material
Hmm.
to? Ever thought about that?
I haven't. I haven't.
Mm,
I think that my network, I've been blessed to be amongst a great network of people.
yes, you have. Yeah.
And so I think, there's still a dream of working with everybody,
Right. Right.
I, I, one of, like, here's a perfect example, somebody that I actually went to Howard with,
Mm.
that's been a huge inspiration and a friend, is like Eric Roberson.
Mm.
And
Okay.
so, Eric is a songwriting genius. He can give you, and at his live concerts, he'll ask the crowd for 4 words and make a song out of it. You know what I mean?
What?
Yeah, you have to
Wow.
check out Eric if you're not familiar. But he's somebody that I would love to work with.
Would you?
Frank McComb is another one.
Oh my God, Frank's
Um,
phenomenal.
I've, I've
Absolute
I've known
phenomenal.
Frank about 20 years, and been a
Yeah.
huge supporter of him and his platforms, and he's actually, returned the love and favor and become like another mentor, just like Will. So, those are artists, that I would love to do some things with. And then, of course, you got your dream folks,
Of course.
Jam and Lewis,
Dream on, dream big, dream
even
real
some
big.
of the other Philadelphia producers here, like Carvin and Ivan, or Dre and Vidal. Those are some. And if you don't know who they are, Carvin Higgins and Ivan Burris produce a lot of the hit songs for Music Soul Child. And Dre and Vidal have done Usher, Jill Scott music. Yep. So that whole neo soul era of folks, So
How awesome is that? And I quickly want to just pop in some of, as I promised that I would do. I like to incorporate our viewers' comments in with our interview so they can know that we're not ignoring them and just having a one-on-one. Not by any means. Not by any means. This means this is Charles Costner. He's actually one of my friends. And he's just simply saying hello to us all.
Yeah, see.
And Judith Simpkins.
That is my aunt. That is my mother's sister.
Oh, Ashley.
Yeah. She's a Howard alum as well. She's a Howard alum. And I see a talented saxophonist from Chicago named Audley Reed on here as well.
Oh, and of course, Will is just full of comments.
Yeah.
Name that group, all the greats. And I wonder what we were saying when this came out.
I don't know. Was he having a Fluffy Evans moment or something over there? I don't know.
I know. What were we talking about, Will, when that came up from your thought process?
That's funny.
That's funny.
I'll hear about it after this
you
interview.
Sure will. You know it. Audley Reed, I love him. A great saxophonist, very talented brother right there. Yep. Very, very talented. Gloria Hall Rollins is watching. And then, of course, Judith Simpkins said, HU forever. Giving shout out to Howard University. I just love to bring in some of the comments and see what people are saying and what their thought processes are while we're in conversation. But that gives us an opportunity to segue into our last break, because we are going to hear what I've been trying to get you to keep in that box.
We did good. We did good on the second segment.
Did I? I didn't. So, but we're gonna take one more quick break.
And she's gonna do her Janet Jackson move on camera as well, the Rhythm Nation move to my song. I can't wait to see her bust a move to it. She's gonna bust a move
behind the camera is what I'm
right.
Doing. Oh, but Ashley is so humorous, and to work with Will, you gotta be, because both of them are totally hilarious. But we'll be right back. It's a split. Yep. Can't say a word. We'll be right back with you, Ashley. Oh my goodness. It's been such a joy and pleasure and an honor, actually, having him on. So rich with information musically. Love what he's going to share in music in just a little bit. So you guys don't go away. We'll be right back with conversation from Ashley Scott. If you want to spotlight your talent, boost your brand, email us your best MP3 at unsignedartistreveal@gmail.com to be considered as a featured artist on our platform. Mondays at 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, right here on Unsigned Artist Reveal. Come on, join the community. Music by Nathan L. Mitchell. Hello, everybody, and welcome back. And again, if you have music that you want considered for us to review here at Unsigned Artist Reveal, please send us your best MP3 and, of course, a nice headshot so we can see what you look like as well. And we'll consider it. We'll give you a call and let you know when we can at least discuss the possibility of having you on this platform. So glad to have you guys on tonight. with our special guest, Ashley. Scott is in the house.
Yes, ma'am.
And we have been having some music rich conversation
Yes.
over the last half hour or so or more. But I want to kind of shift a little bit and start talking a little bit about the music itself. So
Yeah.
today, share with me. So you've got all of this background, you've got all this history.
Yeah.
So to date, how many projects have you completed?
So I've been doing singles on
Ah,
myself. Yeah. I'm trying to make
okay.
every song count. So,
Yes, indeed.
as much as I would love to do a full album,
Yeah,
it's like
yeah.
I don't want songs to be, just gems, and not be heard. So
True.
I've been doing singles. So I did my first single in 2016. It was called Words. And it did pretty
How-
well. Got some good reviews on Soul Tracks, and it
yeah.
actually got picked up by Expansion Records in the UK for their compilation album for 2017 called Luxury Soul. So
Yeah.
it got some extended life over there. And it was a ballad. Pretty much content wise, it was just about being in a relationship or being married, and you don't want to argue and get into heated discussions. So it's just kind of saying like, watch your words and table the conversation so you have a even composure,
Yeah.
level head to kind of because you don't want to say forget you, well forget you, we don't want to deal with all that, so
Exactly.
that's why the chorus says words are powerful, they can help, they can hurt, they can heal or
Um,
hinder, but if you don't know what to say, then just don't say anything at all, it's okay,
I've heard that before. If you don't have anything nice to say, just don't say
right
it at all.
because
But yeah, yeah.
other
Was
than
that
that,
something that was written based on experience, or was it just a song that was this
it
something
was
you've
it was
written?
experience because I'm that way. I am
Okay.
that way. I don't like to argue. I don't feel like feeding into the energy. You're upset. Okay, go on off and be upset. I'm gonna go over here and keep moving along. I'm sorry, whatever I did. Just keep
Yeah.
this. Time is moving. We got to keep moving with time. So
Right. But
um,
but I think that is empowering to write music that teaches you how to value one's heart, one's emotions before you say too much. Let's just,
right.
you know,
Yeah.
let's say, like
Let's
you say,
just
let's table it,
right.
and,
Table
and
it for another
yeah,
time.
and we'll come back and we'll discuss
Yeah.
it. But that's level-headedness versus always trying to get your way and
Yeah. And
hearing
always having to
you
be
didn't hear
right
what I
or
said, you didn't hear what
right.
I said. And
So
sometimes leaving and coming back to the table, it just presents a totally different scenario. And
yeah,
you
I
find
agree.
what you were discussing or bickering about or whatever the issue was wasn't even worth it uh,
Right.
in the beginning. So I
Exactly.
like
This is why I wrote the song. Yeah.
see, but I've been there. Experience
Right.
years of marriage will give you that kind of experience.
Yeah.
Oh wow, it really will. What challenges though as an indie artist? I mean, and I know across the board, most indies will say, well, I have to front everything. And I
That's
think,
one of the main things.
yeah, it is. Yeah. Yeah.
You're the good thing is you're in control of your own destiny. You
Yes.
know what I mean? You're owning your own masters. It's not really a middleman depending on what you're working out or whatever
Right.
avenue that you're pursuing, business wise for the music. So that's the good thing. Yeah, the challenges are financial. The challenges are also timing,
Yep.
dealing with, producers and arranging, scheduling and things of that nature. And one thing that most artists I find and see all the time is that with most artists and entrepreneurs on the creative side, we put all the money into developing the product that we don't have the money to promote the product.
That
So,
makes no sense, Ashley. Yeah. Speak on that.
I mean, it's like, hey, if you're doing it with a live band, hey, you may bring a three-piece thing. Oh, but that guitar is really going to kill. Okay, that's
Right.
more money into the budget.
It
But
is.
now we need the percussion to set the groove. We need
Yeah.
the chimes to, for for the Love Talk and Slow Jams with Sobrina Taylor show, you know. So when she can come in and introduce, you know, for the Quiet Storm, you know.
Exactly.
You know, that's the next show. That's the next show after Unsigned Artist
Yes,
Reveal.
it is. Yes, it is.
Right. So, you know, it just, you know, it happens. And then it's like, okay, I'm ready. It's all ready to go. All right. Now you got to go to radio. Oh, I can't afford that. How much K to just to get one spin, you know?
Exactly.
At nighttime, not in the daytime drive, you know.
Exactly.
You know, or you know, I don't have the money for a video, or you know, but it's out. So, you know, it just happens, you know, it happens. That's just how creatives are. But, you know, again, you have to be both the creative and the business mind.
Business side, exactly.
You know, so, and again, it's people like, you know, the folks that I named, Will Downing, Eric Roberson, Frank McComb. Also have to shout out 2 ladies here in Philadelphia, Helen Bruner and Terry Jones.
Okay.
You know, they are people that started their own labels, which is why I started my own label, you know, to kind of have my own platform to distribute my music.
Yeah.
You know, and so you got to leave it to somebody. So my kids are going to be, you know, inheriting all this stuff, you know.
Legacy, definitely.
Yeah, starting a legacy.
Yeah, exactly. And gone are the days in radio years ago, probably in the late 80s. I was an on-air personality for WJMI OKJ. And I remember when you could walk into, you know, the outer office and you can say, "Hey, I have a new project. Who do I see to have listened to this music? Who's the music director, the program director?" You could literally go that route. Laugh you out of the radio station these days for doing something like that. You can't even get in.
They don't even have that day. During my years at Howard, so I have a strong side. I work on the business side as well, and I have a very strong career with that as well. So I'm kind of both feet in the entertainment game, you know, on both sides of the creative and the business side of the industry. So in my years at Howard, I interned at Radio One in DC at that time. So that's how I met some of the record company promotional reps.
That's right.
You know, at that time, because they were marketing coming every Tuesday to meet with the program director. You know, they were all sitting waiting in the waiting room, and I would go down there and say hello to all of them and got their cars and develop relationships with them. You know, but gone are those days. So
they don't exist anymore. They really don't. And that's when music, like I said, it really spoke. It had a lot of content and a lot of good character. I remember the days of Will Downing during that time, and Gerald Albright and Peebo Bryson, and just great music. Jeffrey Osborne, and hearing a Jam and a Lewis with the early days of Bobby Brown. But you know, even in that era in the 90s, you still had some leverage. And so now with what starts with an I, and I won't say the radio's name, starts with an I. I mean, now you've got to be in the top 30. It's grueling. It's really grueling.
I will say that this year has been pretty tough on everybody, but one of the blessings, the biggest blessings this year, is that the song that you're about to introduce at some point in the segment actually got picked up by a dance show on our local station here in Philadelphia.
Yay!
And so to get the hometown, you know, to be an indie artist and get airplay on the hometown station and on the legacy station at that, you know, this is our station that has been around for 70 years this year.
Yeah.
The station is, you know, marketing their 70th anniversary. So this is the station that broke all the greats that I spoke of earlier.
Wow.
You know, in the African American community in Black music. So to get a dance record played on their dance show, you know, by their personality at that time, that's going on right now, I'm humbled, I'm honored, I'm thankful to get that hometown support. So you
Well,
know.
let's talk about it because that's exactly where we're going. Let's talk
Okay.
about the latest release, "Dance the Night Away." What was the inspiration for this song?
So a producer friend of mine from Philadelphia, Wayne Parr, he gave me the music to the song that, he gave me a skeleton track of it. And he gave me the scenario of the song. He said, hey, your woman's tired. She's tired of doing everything she does at home. It's up to you to take her out. That's the premise of the song. And,
Mhm.
I said, okay. So he gave me one hook, he gave me an idea for a portion of the song. And, I was like, okay, cool. So I took it and I wrote it and actually shared it with the gentleman in the chat, the Prince of Sophisticated Soul.
That would
And,
be
bouncing the ideas off of him one day. So he goes, yo, this is cool. He said, all right, but switch this part up right here and then add this to it. And when he added, I was like, okay, cool. It's done. It's added, So I was like, okay, so we're co-writing a song together. He goes, no, I'm just giving you some ideas. I said, no, sir, these are your words and this is your idea on this song. So it's going to go on the credit. And I'm humbled. I'm appreciative. I'm thankful. I'm honored. And so that's how the song came about. And we recorded it. And I got some great musicians on there. I got live strings on there from a string player in London. Got some of Philly's best musicians on there. Damon Bennett, who plays with Mesa. My friend Stan Davis, who played with Kindred the Family Soul and a lot of artists. On drums, you have Brandon Mullen, who's out with Common and Jasmine Sullivan and Roberta Flack. And on bass, you have my friend Rodney Miller, who played with Kindred the Family Soul. So it's just a lot of,
heavy hitters.
Yeah, heavy hitters. And on background vocals, a young lady out of North Jersey named Janae.
Okay.
As well. So it's a great song.
Great
and
song, guys. So do you guys want to hear it?
So it's two versions though. The original version is a Stepper's Groove, and then a friend of mine from Jersey who's also the original keyboardist for Kindred the Family Soul. His name is Fred Kenny Jr. He said, "Let me hook you up a dance remix." I said, "Okay, cool." So he put a dance remix in. So the original version made it to the top 10 in the UK soul charts earlier this year. The remix is actually in the top 10 on a radio station in Italy right now.
Wow. Okay. Well, we have an extended remix.
Okay, 6-minute version. Everybody get up.
Have a whole.
Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna fade it out, but we've probably got almost 4 minutes of it. So we've got the lion's share of the extended mix here on tonight. So you guys are gonna hear it here, the extended mix.
And she's gonna do her Janet Jackson moves too. Can't wait to see it.
The scenes. You're gonna.
No, you gotta do it so everybody can see. This is your world. Dance the night away.
Oh well, we want them
chilling.
Yeah, we're both gonna chill and enjoy this. You guys, listen. This is Ashley Scott, Dance the Night Away, right here on Unsigned Artist Reveal. We'll be right back.
1, 2, 3, 4. Baby, we can dance. Baby, we can dance. Baby, we can dance. Baby, we can dance. Come on. It's that time of the week when your mind starts to see, wanting to do your own thing, makes you wanna do some dancing. Let's set the date, baby, so you can get to the floor. Your hair, your nails, dress, and shoes is all that we need. Baby, we can dance the night away. Come on. Want to step the stress away. Come on. Baby, we can dance the night away. Just me and you. Baby, we can dance the night away. Come on. Want to step the stress away. Come on. Baby, we can dance the night away. Just me and you. Let's have some food and some wine. Baby, tonight your light will shine. Once you decide to let go of all that's bothering you, now we take to the floor to move to the left, move to the right, stand up and take it back tonight. Let go of all the things on your mind, and we can have a good time. Baby, we can dance the night away. Come on, 1, 2, step the stress away. Baby, we can dance the night away. Come on, just me and you. Waltz, tango, salsa, cha-cha, rumba, bongo, merengue, bachata, timba, samba, mamba, swing, jive, Russell, bolero, two-step, salsa, flamingo, sensei, breaking, dance the shoes, so we can dance the night away. Come on, ooh, step the stress away. Come on, baby, we dance the night away. Just me and you. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let me see you do some more. Come on, let's step it away. Come on, just me and you. Come on. Oh, 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 oh. Come on. Dance all night till the morning light. Dance the night away. Just me and you. Baby, we can dance the night away. 1, 2, step the stress away. Baby, we can dance the night away. Just me and you. Dance.
I'm sitting back here and I'm just thinking about my days in the radio station and great music, and it's late night, and it's just me, music, and good times. This music is so great. Awesome music.
I have to admit, I sat here with my eyes closed, just listening,
Yeah.
and I zoned out too, thinking about my days in the club. And everybody doing the soul clap on that breakdown part. So I need this quarantine life to stop so people can get in these clubs and dance to the song.
I loved it. And like I said, an old soul in a young body. It's just so amazing. It just brought back sweet memories of great music and fun and days when you didn't have to worry about who was at the club, was it going to get shot up, were you going to get out of there alive? It's just great time.
I'm just trying to make good music and bring back good music.
Yep, and you did that with that song, with the remix. It is so wonderful.
I appreciate it.
And guys, I want you to please go and support. So tell everybody how they can actually purchase your music.
So my website is ashleyscottmusic.com, and you'll have links up there to every platform that you need to get to, whether it's Spotify, Apple Music, SoundCloud, Amazon as well. All the songs are available on all the platforms, Words and Dance the Night Away, both the original version and the remix. So please go and support and download the songs, keyword download, don't stream, but download the songs. Look, to quote Eric Roberson, that 99 cents is going to go help a worthy family, mine.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Exactly. What can you really buy for 99 cents these days?
Right. So
great music.
Go ahead and support.
Great music.
Go ahead and support. It's great.
And what do you want people to walk away with, though, from your music, really, when they listen to Ashley Scott? What impact do you want?
Just to say that it was good music and just to feel good about it. I still get letters. I got a note from somebody on Facebook a few weeks ago saying, your song Words was just, I still listen to it, from a few years ago. I'm like, where are you located? Somebody in the Midwest, and he has a radio show on on a community radio, and he plays it, almost every other week, he said. So I was like, thank you, because you got a great song. I said, you got to hear Dance the Night Away. So, just the fact that people appreciate it and say good things and feel good about it, that's the whole thing. You just want to make a strong impact on the world,
Who do you want to work with in the near future?
I think some of the folks I said, Frank McComb, Eric Roberson. If Will Downing needs some more background vocals, I'll come up and do a ooh on his stuff. Yeah, that. Do a ooh on another record, Yeah, and be one of his temptations, on the one mic,
Exactly.
Temptations in one mic, do a little two-step,
Oh my God.
And again, just some of the local folks here in Philly.
Really, and that's what I wanted to know. Do you want to pay forward some of the no names, people that none of us knows? We know.
Yeah, there's still a lot of collaboration with some local artists here. Both known and I'm not going to say unknown, but just independent.
Independent,
is a word. There's definitely. I want to create platforms to even
awesome.
Bring that community together. Again, because and I'm doing it. I'm bringing other singers on my records. To kind of do background vocals and things of that nature.
Awesome.
So yeah, definitely to continue. We have a very strong community here in Philadelphia. I was for about the past 8 years, not this year, but previous 8 years, I was on the board for the Recording Academy, our local Grammy chapter.
Oh, what an honor.
Yeah, I actually served as vice president 1 year as well. Okay. So the Philadelphia music community is very strong. Almost every recording artist has a Philadelphia musician in their band, So I'm not saying that we're the best, but the feel here is unlike any other. The vibe here is unlike any other. Yeah. So, to just kind of continue the legacy of the city, because the city alone has produced some of the greatest music ever told. I mean, and I just touched on the 70s. I didn't even talk about the new millennium. I did a little bit, but I mean, Jill Scott, Music Soul Child, Jaguar Wright, Kindred the Family Soul, Bilal, Lady Alma, Vivian Green, Carol Riddick, the Jazzy Fat Nasties, that whole neo soul sound.
Phenomenal.
Helen and Terry, Barbara Cherie, just it's a lot of talent here. So, just trying to continue that legacy, as well.
Okay. Well, we do appreciate that you spent just a little over an hour with us on tonight.
Just a little over an hour. We're sorry.
No, and I enjoyed it. I really and truly enjoyed the history and
as well.
Walkthrough of your Howard University days and the impact that it has had on your career. It's phenomenal. It's an honor to have said you've come out of Howard University and then to see it come to fruition in your music. That's a blessing.
Those years were the best years of my life. And every time I walk on that campus, you get the goose pimples. Yeah, the chills. Had that out of body experience, seeing your former self just walk to class.
Yeah.
You're like, hey, don't do that. Don't. That's where somebody slipped on the ice. Don't laugh.
So, but we do appreciate that you've come and you've allowed us to kind of, get a little nosy, but yet learn a little bit as well. So
this was fun. Thank you.
Thank you. And you've got to come back.
Yes.
Welcome. You got to come back. I'm sure there's a lot more music, a lot more years left.
There's some coming this fall. So we'll have something. We'll have another single out this fall. Definitely.
So can you tell me, is it like dance oriented? Is it love song?
It's an R&B groove.
It's an R&B groove. Okay.
Yeah, it's an R&B groove. So we'll see if we can get another dance remix for that one too. But yeah, I need to get something out before the Christmas rush. So.
Yes, please.
Yes. So it'll be before Christmas. Yeah. Definitely.
Well, listen, again, thank you so much. And everybody, we really want to say thank you for stopping in and sitting with us for an hour and listening to us rant about clinical things,
Yes.
We do appreciate it. And
thank you guys.
Anywhere doing anything, but you chose to come and sit with us, and we do humbly say thank you. And listen, don't forget, next week we've got the beautiful international vocalist Rebecca Jade. She will be on next week. I didn't get an opportunity to share about her, but Rebecca Jade will be on next week, and we just look forward to more music, more music, more music. All right, but listen, everybody, again, thank you, and remember, what you make happen for others, God will also make happen for you. You guys take care, and we'll see you again next Monday. Take care. Bye bye.